Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Tuesday, the 6th of December. Good to have you aboard as we are approaching another huge Miami Dolphins game this weekend. After Sunday's action, we get to start to look. I still got a little bit more for you on the 49ers game, but now it's Tuesday. We're pissed off. We're angry about the loss. You got to start shaking it off, right? And we're going to start to look forward toward the game this weekend, which is Dolphins Sunday Night Football, national spotlight, Los Angeles Chargers. That's right. They used to be San Diego. They play in Los Angeles this year. Dolphins and Los Angeles Chargers. I believe, it's off the top of my head. It is technically the third national TV game this year. You had the Thursday night game, that's the requirement, at the Bengals. Then you had the home game against the Steelers. And the timing of this is really good, actually, for the Dolphins, because you got the national media who's found reason now to doubt your favorite little football team and your favorite quarterback. You got the opinionists out there who are entrenched in their stance that Tua and the Dolphins are not for real. And this week they get to have their cake and eat it too. And so now this weekend, you got the Dolphins on a national stage. Tua versus Herbert, number 5 versus number 6. The better quarterback versus the not as good quarterback. Big time Sunday Night Football matchup. So we're marching toward that this weekend. That's obviously going to be a lot of fun. Shout out, of course, as always at the top of the show, Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorneys, title sponsor since day number 1 of ZASLOW Show 2.0. Those guys believe in me before I even got this thing started. They trusted me, and I'm always going to be eternally grateful for that. But most importantly, if you're dealing with any kind of personal injury, whatever the accident was, car accident, motorcycle, bike, slip and fall, Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. You get into an accident, you got to worry about getting healthy. You got to worry about getting better. Let them take care of getting you the money that you deserve, all right? They're going to fight that fight for you. They're going to come through for you. You don't have to worry about that part. You give them a call. You're going to speak with an attorney live right there and get you on your way to recovery. Anidjar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. Love those guys. So we're going to spend a lot of time here early on the show on the Heat. First, though, let's do a little from Monday Night Football last night. Actually, first, I'll do a little bit of personal stuff. All right, last night I told you we were getting the week started off on the right foot. My son's soccer team, Weston Select U14 boys, excellent job last night closing out the regular season, 8-2-2. That's an excellent record, and especially considering that they have not been healthy most of the season. Had a great year. My son, who was the goalkeeper, he missed the first 3 games of the season. 8-2, and he had a hit pointer. 8-2-2, the team finishes. But it wasn't just my son. You had other very big-time players of the team who missed lots of action. We're finally healthy, though. They win last night. They beat Fort Lauderdale FC 6-1. That's right. My son gave up a goal. It was a stupid goal off a corner. Very stupid. But nonetheless, they win 6-1. They beat that team up. And that's how you want to finish the regular season. So they clinch a playoff spot. The playoffs are later on in the year. The playoffs are in May. And we got a big tournament coming up this weekend. Miami Classic. That's what the ZASLOW family is doing this weekend. Starting Thursday night. Which, by the way, if they wind up making the tournament final, very hard. It's a very difficult tournament. But if they wind up making the final, the final game is going to be Sunday night during Dolphins Chargers. I hope that's a problem I got to deal with. All right. But anyway, great job by those boys last night. And like I said, finished this regular season, this fall season, 8-2-2. Now it's time to go win a tournament this weekend. When I got home last night, obviously I recorded the Heat game. Nobody texts me during Heat games when I got stuff to do. All right. No spoilers. So recorded the Heat game. And I was obviously... I'm watching that on like a 90-minute delay, 2-hour delay, whatever it was. You got the Heat on the big TV, ZASLOW Mansion Family Room. You got the Monday Night Football on the small TV, ZASLOW Mansion Family Room. That game stunk last night. The Monday Night Football game. I'm starting with the Monday Night Football. The Monday Night Football stunk. But obviously the big story is Brady, how Brady finished the game. I mean, it was 16-3 with, I think, 5 minutes left in the game. Does that sound about right? Yeah, they got the touchdown pass to Cade Otton with 3 minutes left. So, yeah, even less time. With just over 3 minutes left in the game, it's 16-3. And the next possession for the Saints, you got, a disaster situation there with Mark Ingram, where Mark Ingram was hurt, and they put him back in the game. And I guess Ingram could have had a first down. He ended up, running out of bounds because, he's hurt. Anyway, I'm not sure. I think that was that possession that led to the final possession there for the Buccaneers. I may be confusing it with the possession right before that, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. And nobody cares. So the big story of the game, though, was Brady. The last 2 possessions there, I think he was 8 for 10, those final 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. Had to score again because they scored. You got it called back because of holding, and they completed 1 pass to the sideline, and then the next pass you had to the rookie running back, 6-yard touchdown, and the Buccaneers win the game 17-16. Inexplicably, they are hosting a playoff game right now. They are 6-6, and they are hosting a playoff game because they lead that division. It's the worst division in football, that NFC South. Amazingly enough, I mean, how about this? That NFC South, if the Saints would have won last night, you would have potentially had all 4 teams in it. Because the Saints, the Buccaneers would have been sitting on 7 losses, Falcons 8 losses, Panthers 8 losses, Saints 8 losses. Worst division in football, you would have had all 4 teams in it. Instead, the Buccaneers now are in a great position because they're 2 games up now on the Falcons. So the Buccaneers 6-6, and this is what your playoff picture looks like. And by the way, I felt good for Brady. I did. Like, ever since he doesn't play for the Patriots, I'm fine with Brady. I hate the Patriots so much. That Mac Jones sucks. I hate the Patriots so much. And now Tom Brady, I like seeing him have success. He's going through some tough personal stuff. Let the guy have a little bit of success on the field. I mean, I understand, he gave up his entire family, for 6-6 right now. That's hard times, Daddy. But let Tom Brady have a little bit of shine on the football field this season, all right? It's hard times for him in his personal life. Anyway, here's what the playoff picture looks like on both sides. We'll start with the NFC, because the AFC is so much more dramatic. We care so much more about the AFC. The NFC division leaders right now, 1-4. Philadelphia, 11-1. Minnesota, 10-2. San Francisco, 8-4. Tampa Bay, 6-6. And so right now, you got Dallas, 9-3. New York Giants, 7-4-1. Tie is so stupid. Seattle, 7-5. Those are your 3 wildcard teams. So right now, playoffs, you would have Seattle at Minnesota in the first round. New York Giants at San Francisco. That's like an old school 90s NFC matchup. I love that. And Dallas at Tampa Bay. Tell you, that 5th spot, the first wild card position, which right now belongs to Dallas, that 5th spot's money. Because you're going to get to play potentially at the Buccaneers. And let's be honest right now, Dallas would maul Tampa Bay. Maul them. And Dallas has a healthy lead over the next team, which is the Giants. Dallas, I guess, essentially is a game and a half ahead of them because you got that stupid tie with the Giants. So that's what you're looking at right now. Philadelphia, of course, with the bye. The AFC, the best conference, the American Football Conference. Buffalo 9-3 right now would have the bye due to the tie break. You got Kansas City at 9-3, Baltimore 8-4. Tennessee, 7-5. Those are your top 4. Those are your division winners. They would host playoff games. 5, 6, and 7, the wild card teams. Cincinnati, 8-4. Miami, 8-4. New York Jets, 7-5. And now, of course, right now, Miami does not own the tiebreak with Cincinnati. That's why they're technically behind them. And they also don't own the tiebreak with the Jets, although that situation will take care of itself because you got the last game of the season. The Dolphins host the Jets. They're going to take that ass. Everybody knows that. So right now, you would have New York Jets at Kansas City, Miami at Baltimore. Rematch. That'd be fun. And Lamar Jackson right now, week to week. He's no longer days to weeks. He's now week to week. And Cincinnati at Tennessee. And the Bengals right now look as dangerous as anybody. They're looking like the AFC champion again. And Burrow may be joining that MVP conversation. I don't know. Look out for Joe Shiesty. So that's what you're looking at right now. Excuse me. And of course, for the Dolphin fan, you got a monster this weekend. If you got any chance of winning the division, it actually has to start with this weekend. Because you can't go into Buffalo, 2-game losing streak, and you need to go into Buffalo potentially 1 game back. All right, Buffalo this coming week has the Jets. They're a 9.5-point favorite. I got to assume Buffalo is going to wind up winning that game. So you got to win this weekend at the Chargers to put yourself in at least a position where if you win the game in Buffalo, which, by the way, we found out yesterday has been flexed for Week 15, Saturday night prime time. How you love that? 2 weeks in a row, Dolphins prime time. This Sunday night football, Dolphins at Chargers. Next week, Saturday night, Dolphins at Buffalo Bills. I love it. You have to win this weekend. You put yourself in a position where you're a game back of Buffalo. So if you win that game, that game's potentially for the division. If you were to win that game, then you go in a game back. You then would pull even with Buffalo. I know we're jumping ahead, but hang with me here. You would pull even with Buffalo, and you own the tiebreak. So you wouldn't be even. You'd technically be ahead of them. But it all starts with this weekend. If you lose this weekend, then you go into that Buffalo game potentially 2 games back, where even if you beat them, you're still 1 game back. And of course, if you were to lose that game, you're done. All right. So it starts this weekend. You got to win this weekend. Buffalo right now, they are 1-2 in the division. So they certainly need the win this weekend against the Jets. And Dolphins division record, they're 2-1. Conference record, very good conference record. This is important for tiebreak scenarios. 3-way tiebreaks. If you're head-to-head with Cincinnati, they're going to win the head-to-head tiebreak. But a lot of times you get the 3-ways. The Dolphins are 6-2 in conference. Excellent conference record. And as far as the teams right behind them that we're talking about conference records, see, the Chargers desperately need this game against the Dolphins because the Chargers right now, they find themselves, they are 9th. Well, I guess tied for 8th if you want to do it like that. 8 and 9 is New England. Team sucks. New England and the Chargers at 6-6. So the Chargers, their conference record, they have 4 conference losses. So they would look to win the tiebreak, the head-to-head tiebreak against the Dolphins, and they would also pick up a game there in conference. But this weekend would only pull them within a game of Miami. It could potentially pull them, though, into that 7th playoff spot if the Jets, of course, lose to Buffalo. I hope I'm not making this too complicated for you. The Patriots this weekend, they are at Arizona. You can't sit here and say, even though the Patriots, I'm sure they're favored in that game. The Patriots are, they're a 1-point favorite. Arizona's terrible, but so are the Patriots. So you got a little bit of a logjam right there at the back end of the playoff picture. And don't look now, but the Vegas Raiders at 5-7, they're looking at the Jets at number 7. If the Jets lose this weekend, and the Raiders, they're at the Rams. All right, that's a super winnable game for the Raiders. Raiders might be favored on the road at the Rams. The Raiders are 6-point favorites at the Rams. So you got the Raiders, who are totally in the playoff picture, considering, all right, if the Jets lose this weekend and the Raiders win, you find yourself 1 game back. So it all starts, though, as far as the Dolphins and the division. It starts with the Dolphins winning this weekend, beating the Chargers. That puts yourself in a position to go to Buffalo and win the division. And that's not even a hot take, all right? That's a truth bomb right there. But I'll tell you what, if you're feeling hot, you're feeling a little bit warm, you put your hand on your cap, you're like, oh my God, I don't think you feel so good. I got to tell you about Doctors on Call 365. Doctors on Call 365, South Florida's urgent care that comes to you. You go see my man, Dr. Alon. He's the you don't go see him. He comes to see you. That's the whole point. Matter of fact, Dr. Alon is coming to my house today. Got my older son, a little bit under the weather. He's got to get a strep test, all right? My son gets strep throat once a year. It's a thing, all right? We know what's coming. He's got to get a strep test. If I were to call the doctor today, they may say, all right, we don't have an opening. We could see him on Friday. I'm like, okay, but he needs to get better right now. So Dr. Alon at Doctors on Call 365, he's coming this afternoon to my home to see my son, and he's going to give him a strep test. That's right. You need a strep test. You need a COVID test. You need a flu test. Maybe you need IV fluids, vitamin therapy. You need blood drawn, all right? Doctors on Call 365, based in Broward County, but servicing Miami-Dade and Southern Palm Beach as well. They're going to come to your home. That's right, your home, your hotel, your work, wherever you are. They will come to you. I can't put a price on convenience. I don't want to go sit in the waiting room at the emergency room. I don't want to try and make an appointment at the doctor's office and be told we'll see you in a couple of weeks. No, Doctors on Call 365, they're coming to me. That's right. Now, as of right now, there's self-pay. Medicare acceptance is on the way. Private insurance acceptance is coming down the line as well. But what you're going to wind up paying Doctors on Call 365 for the convenience to come into your home, if you were to go to the emergency room, you're going to wind up paying the same thing, maybe even more, all right? Doctors on Call 365.com. Doctors on Call 365.com, 786-577-9302. So the Heat last night, oh, man. So I get home from soccer last night. I got the Monday Night Football on the little TV. I got the Heat on the big TV, of course. Nobody texts me. No spoilers. Don't do that. And I'm figuring, okay, wow. I mean, look at this Memphis lineup. No Ja Morant. No Desmond Bane. No Jarrett Jackson Jr. They're down 4 starters. They're sitting 4 starters. The Heat are coming off of maybe their best 2 games of the season. Even though 2 games ago that was a loss at Boston, 134-121. He played very, very well. Then Jimmy Butler rejoins the team. They play their best game of the season. They beat the Celtics. They take that Celtic ass. Give them just their second home loss of the season. Now you're feeling great, right? And it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back. That's right. 1 step forward and 2 steps back. You can't take advantage of the win in Boston. Like who cares about the win in Boston if you then go lay an egg in Memphis? And Memphis is good, I get it, but they're down 4 starters, including Ja. Go look at that starting backcourt. You ever heard? What's the guy who was starting next to Tyus Jones? I mean, I know who Tyus Jones is, but what the hell was the name of the guy, the other guy in the backcourt? I can't even remember. I'm gonna look it up for you here. You know, I'm all about accuracy. Memphis started some guy named Roddy. That's right. And not Rowdy Roddy Piper. David Roddy. That's who started last night alongside Tyus Jones. A backcourt of Tyus Jones and David Roddy combined for 34 points against the Heat. Tyus Jones had 28 of them. But nonetheless, you look at this team that they threw out there. And the Heat can only manage 93 points? 16 in the fourth quarter? It really is 1 step forward and 2 steps back. What's the point in that Boston win if you can't carry over any of that at Memphis? By the way, the Heat were in Memphis waiting for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies played the night before. The Heat were in Memphis. They played Friday. They flew over, I believe they flew Saturday. I think they stayed over the night in Boston. They were waiting in Memphis for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies are playing the second night of a back-to-back. The Heat are chilling. They're coming off a great win against Boston. And that's what we wind up getting? You get that performance there in Memphis? Like, just when I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Hey, the fun's about to begin, right? Just when I'm starting to feel a little bit better. That's what you get last night. And you know what? The Heat are going to wind up beating Detroit tonight. He played the Pistons tonight. They suck. They're gonna beat Detroit tonight. But who cares? Like, I don't understand how you have those two games. You know, they lost one. Okay. I don't understand how you have those 2 games against Boston and then 93 points at Memphis. And you know Memphis was trying super hard last night. And you know there's this element. It always happens. I mean, hey, everybody remembers, back in the 96 Bulls, 72-win team. The Heat had 8 players. The night they traded for Tim Hardaway, they had 8 players. Hardaway, was en route, couldn't make the game. The Heat had 8 players that night. Rex Chapman, 38 points, 72-win Bulls. If the Heat didn't beat them that night, they would have had single-digit losses for the season. The Warriors may not be the greatest team with 73 wins. The Bulls may have gotten 73 wins. The team that's shorthanded, you know they're going to try super hard. But it's not as if the Heat are this juggernaut right now where they can take teams lightly. Like, the Heat need to be going into all these games, the team that is playing super hard. And I don't even know that the Heat weren't playing hard last night, but, I mean, there was certain, like the Heat were up by 8 at one point in the second half, and you had this possession where the Grizzlies got, 3-4 chances. Steven Adams is flying in for offensive rebounds, and, yeah, they were outworking the Heat there, man. And you can't have that when you're now 11-13. You're 2 games under 500. They're going to beat Detroit tonight, but who cares? You got to start mounting these wins on top of each other. And when you got the win against Boston, which, you couldn't have counted on. Last night, you were gifted Memphis. And then you got Detroit. Then you got a 3-game homestand where 2 of the 3 are Detroit and San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard hit the game-winning shot for the Clippers last night. Who knows if he'll play? That's hit or miss. He never plays. But worst case, let's say you get 2 out of 3 on the homestand here. You could have come off of 2 straight wins on the road there, and what would have been a 3-1 road trip. You're feeling real good about yourself. You could have been in a stretch where you win in 4 out of 5. Instead, you lose last night, and all right, you got this homestand coming up, but this was an opportunity to get a little bit of momentum. Like I said, just when you're out there listening, Jimmy's back. Now I'm feeling good. Now it's going to start. Oh, we catch a little bit of a break with Memphis. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take a break. And that's the performance that you got last night. It's frustrating, man. And the Heat bench stinks. Haywood Highsmith is not an offensive player. So when Haywood Highsmith comes off the bench last night, and by the way, terrific defensive player. They were on the broadcast last night, Eric Reed and John Crichton. Now, I'm talking about Eric Reed, television play-by-play voice for the Miami Heat. OG inaugural member, original Miami Heat employee. I'm not talking about Eric Reed, the former midday host for 7-9 Ticket. I don't know what he's doing. But Eric Reed and John Crotty last night, they're singing the praise of Haywood Highsmith. They're like on call. He's block steals. His ears are ringing. He can hear that they're talking about him. Haywood Highsmith came off the bench, gave you 6.6 rebounds, 3 steals, block shot. The rest of your bench gave you 5. Strus gave you 5. Dwayne Dedman's out there fouling anything in sight. And Gabe Vincent, couldn't give you anything last night. Here's the thing. The Heat bench stinks. And no Yurtsevin and no Oladipo really screwed this team. I'm not saying, it's not their fault that they're hurt. But no Oladipo, no Yurtsevin really screwed this team. It did. Because, Oladipo was going to replace Tyler Hero on the bench, right? And Dedman has nights like that where he's just fouling anything in sight. Big Yurt. So you're looking down that bench and you're saying, can Duncan Robinson give us anything? Now, I don't know if he's hurt. He's listed as with an ankle situation, but you and I know just as well. He's not in the rotation. Coach wants to play Haywood Highsmith, and I'm fine with that. But they really need someone else on that bench, and Oladipo's supposed to be the guy. This bench stinks. Starters were good last night. Hero's a great rebounder for his size, man. Hero had 23 points and 13 rebounds. He struggled from 3. Jimmy had a very nondescript game. He gave you a bunch of other stuff. 18 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. But you were kind of waiting for a stretch where Jimmy was going to kind of take over. It never really happened. Bam had 15 points and 5 rebounds. Caleb Martin, though, 16 points. Zeros across the board otherwise. No rebounds, no assists. Caleb is not a good rebounder. But Caleb has done an excellent job in that power forward spot in the starting lineup. I told you this. I don't want to hear about Jay Crowder being some type of savior. I don't even want to hear about missing PJ Tucker because you know what? Haywood Highsmith's giving you a little bit of that element. He's not PJ Tucker, and the guys on the broadcast last night told you that, but he's given you that element, and Caleb Martin has done a more than acceptable job. He has done a fine job as the starting, 4 if you want. Caleb Martin had 16 last night, but you look at what Caleb's doing on the season. He's giving you 11.5 points and 5 rebounds a game. How did he not grab a single rebound last night? He shoots 50% overall, 42% from 3. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear about PJ Tucker anymore. I love him, but I don't want to hear it. Speaking of PJ Tucker, the Sixers last night, they lost in double overtime. What was it to, I think to Houston, right? Bad loss. They're now even at 500, I think now. Yeah, and James Harden made his return last night. He was like 2 for 73. He was terrible. He did not shoot well. So the Heat last night, like I said, really frustrating. They dropped back to 2 games under 500, and now you got a 3-game homestand, which starts tonight as they host the Detroit Pistons. Let me see what the Pistons' record is. Are they still no, they can't be the worst in the East. Orlando's definitely the worst. They're 6-19. Wow, 6-19. So there you have it. You get to see a little bit of Cade Cunningham, if that's what you're interested as far as the Pistons go. But more importantly, the team is back home starting a little homestand here tonight, which includes the Pistons, the Spurs, and the Clippers sandwiched in between those two. All right, so let's get to some Dolphins here. The first thing I want to tell you is, and I still got a little bit more for you as far as the San Francisco game, and even though we're going to begin to look forward to the Chargers, I still got a little bit more for you as far as the San Francisco game. But here's what I got as far as the Dolphins go. I can't believe I'm still, actually, real quick, Dolphins, like I told you, Dolphins-Bills, primetime Saturday, Week 15. And the Dolphins yesterday signed former number 1 overall pick from Kansas City, Eric Fisher. They needed another tackle. Austin Jackson is on IR. I guess he's done for the season. They're hoping Armstead's going to play this week, but I guess they're hoping they could put Eric Fisher at right tackle, and you get a little bit of insurance there for left tackle. I know it's like, hey, Eric Fisher, this is a major upgrade over what we have. Couple things. Number one, I don't know that Eric Fisher's an upgrade. If Eric Fisher still had stuff left in the tank, would he be sitting at home right now doing nothing? I gotta see it to believe it. I don't know. His former number 1 overall pick, and it's not like he wasn't a player because he stunk. He was a bust. Right? Just injuries, that kind of deal. You know, end of his career, that kind of situation. Feels a little bit like a Jake Long situation, you know, where he was like really good, injuries, going to end the career early. Okay, fine. But we'll like, I got to see it to believe with Eric Fisher. Here's the thing, though. I am shocked at the praise that I have heard for the performance on Sunday that was the San Francisco 49ers defense. Their defense was good. Obviously, their defense is awesome. And their defense was good. But there is no part of me that thinks back to that game, remembers what I was watching, and says, wow, the 49ers defense, they really forced Tua into stinking up the joint on Sunday. And I was even going back, you know, I saw, you can hit me up on Twitter at ZASLOW Show, Instagram at ZASLOWJ. I'm an influencer, but I love responding with you guys and interacting. And like I got a message from, you know, one of my awesome ZASLOW Show 2.0 fans. You know, it's not like the 49ers weren't pressuring Tua, you know. Whoa. I didn't watch that game. That wasn't the game that I saw. And matter of fact, I was going back on Twitter and I saw some Dolphin fans out there like putting together these videos of all these video clips. I would give credit if I remember, but putting together this video clip of all the underthrows, mostly overthrows, Tua missing receivers. Obviously, he was missing 2 tackles. But Tua was not under pressure on any of these throws. It's like, I remember, and I talked about this yesterday. Was Tua off because he's trying to win it for McDaniel? Or was it he's trying to be extra quick because he knows Armstead's not there? He doesn't want to take too much time back there in the pocket. Is he pressing? Is he rushing? I'm looking at these clips again yesterday. All these overthrows, all these missed passes. Underthrow to Sherfield, underthrow to Hill. He is not getting pressure. He's got a pretty big pocket. Or he's getting the ball out early before the pressure was even going to come. The 49er defense, I'm sorry, they did not force him into any of those throws. He was just bad. I don't get the praise that the Niners defense was getting for the performance that Tua had. I don't sit here and claim to be this, look, I don't sit here and claim to be this football aficionado. I'm talking about American football, not, not the world's most beautiful sport, soccer. No, I'm talking about football. I don't sit here and claim to be this big X's and O's guy. I could do that with basketball. Football, nah, there's so much going on there that I and you, we don't see, we don't know about. But that game that I saw Sunday, I totally blame the Dolphins. So much more than I give credit to the 49ers. Yeah, I think the Dolphins get more blame than the 49ers get credit for that game. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm looking. If I could find the clip yesterday, one of the Dolphin fans made it, put together all the missed throws. He's not getting pressured on any of them. Any of them. I'm telling you. The Dolphins blow that team out on Sunday. If Tua looks like Tua. It was a really strange performance. Really tough performance out of him. I don't get it, man. I'm shocked at the praise that the 49ers defense is getting for the way Tua looked. I don't get it. I also saw this yesterday. So give this a listen. And you put on the television, Dolphins, Tua, they're a topic every single day. I love it. I love that they're being talked about, whether I agree or disagree. And you got the Dolphin haters on television. You got the king of Cuck Mountain, Keyshawn Johnson. You got Mina Kimes. You got plenty of Dolphin haters out there. But you also got guys who are Dolphin supporters and who are Tua supporters, like Dan Orlovsky. Dan Orlovsky's a big-time Dolphin supporter, big-time Tua supporter. But I thought he made the Dolphin / Tua supporters look bad yesterday. Give this a listen. This was on First Take yesterday. Stephen A. Smith, Michael Irvin there. Oh, Michael Irvin. He is the best. Stephen A. Smith, Michael Irvin, and Dan Orlovsky. Give this a listen here. I thought Orlovsky made Tua supporters look bad.
I'm saying you were wrong. I told you what was going to happen. What do you mean what were you wrong about? You was talking about how great Tua was going to look. You believed in him and how great he was going to look this week. Good. Oh, my Lord. All right, Dan. Go ahead.
Played well.
I'm not entertaining. I'm not going to. Now, that's ridiculous.
No.
That's ridiculous.
This is.
Don't give me good. Did he play up to the standard that he had established throughout this season? Did he play up to that standard? Because you said he was. And we all know he did it yesterday. Stop that. Stop that.
How many times has this San Francisco 49er defense given up more than 20 points this year? Once. To Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. They scored 23.
I told you that before they played.
Right. Tua, without both of his starting tackles, scored 17. How many drops did they have yesterday, Stephen A?
I don't want to. Excuse me. I counted 2.
How many?
I counted 2. I counted
4.
I counted 2.
4. Yeah, 4 dots.
There was a few. I thought he overthrew a couple of times. I don't think they were drop passes. I didn't think they were drop passes. It wasn't a pinpoint accuracy that we have been seeing. He was off.
He was off.
He was off, Dan.
I'm not sitting here saying he played perfect, but you're making it sound like he was a disaster.
No.
Without both tackles.
No. I'm making it sound like he was relatively decent, but Dan Orlovsky said something more was going to happen, and it didn't. That's my point.
Yeah, so, look, I like that there are certain guys who will defend the Dolphins, who will defend Tua. Orlovsky is one of them. Orlovsky knows what he's talking about, but I thought Orlovsky made the Tua supporters look kind of delusional in that spot right there. You can't go on television and say Tua played well. Tua's the reason they lost on Sunday. And I know it's a hard thing to say, and especially coming from someone like myself. I love Tua. I love him like a son. I love Tua. That's my guy. It's been my guy from day one. But I'm not delusional enough to sit here and tell you that Tua had never has fault, that Tua doesn't make mistakes, and that this past Sunday Tua wasn't really the reason that Tua was not the reason they didn't win the game. Now you can point to the defense. You want to say a defense this past Sunday gets equal blame? Okay, that's fine. But even as bad as the defense was, Tua makes all those throws. Tua hits all those receivers. We win that game going away. We do. We win by double figures. You can't go on television or live. Like, I got to side with Stephen A. Smith. Have to. You can't go on television and say Tua played well. Tua played well. It was terrible. You know, except for maybe the New England game, the first game of the season. And Tua wasn't good the Pittsburgh game, but you give him a pass there. First game back after the concussion. Yesterday, I mean, it was as bad a game he had all season. And it was especially bad because all the opportunities were there. They left so many throws, so many completions, so many points on the field. So, I thought Orlovsky made Tua supporters look kind of foolish there yesterday. You can't say he had a good game. He was bad.